So the technical reason that baby boomers are delusional is that they oversaw the transition from a silver and gold backed currency to a fiat currency. That's the reason that they're delusional. This is the reason why this is the only reason to be mad at the baby boomers. Like, basically, they literally sold out the entire country. But it was basically Nixon with the fiat currency. Like, that's what did it. Like, when the boomers were growing up, we used real money. There was real money. Now, there's no longer real money. Now we're being paid in monopoly money. That's why we're all slaves. That's why we can't buy anything. That's why the boomers who acquired their assets for 1973, when we went off of the gold standard and silver standard permanently, that's why they're like, what are you talking about? Everything's fine. And they don't really understand that everyone in the United States who likes freedom should be very upset that we are being paid in monopoly money. We're being paid in mining co dollars. They're ECME mining co dollars, people. Go listen to Tennessee Ernie's song, 16 Tons. Like, we're being enslaved to... I mean, you could say the banks. I don't really think it matters. Like, I think it's the beast of the land. I think that just the main problem, like, don't go after the banks, don't go after all this stuff. Like, who cares about the institutions? Like, we should return to first principles. We should just look at, okay, I have a problem with my everyday life. Every day I go to work and get paid in ECME mining co dollars. They're not exchangeable for silver, and they're constantly inflating. That doesn't happen with a silver-backed currency. Why? Because silver is real, and ECME mining co dollars aren't real. And free people understand this, and slaves don't understand this. Like, if you're so stupid that you don't understand the difference between being paid in paper and being paid in silver, then there's no help for you. This is the basic reason to be, like, everyone's like, baby boom. No. You're all morons, and you should all be very upset about fiat currency. You should be working on that one issue. You should focus on that one singular issue, because then maybe we'd accomplish something. Baby boomers, how did you let that happen? How? How on God's green earth did you allow the entire country to go from being a free people who earn silver and gold to working for paper? I really don't understand that. I think that was your big fumble. That was like your parents' fault. Like, I don't even know. Maybe it's all part of, like, multi-generational Rockefeller mind control things through just beating the spirit. It's like they say in Scent of a Woman. There's no sight. Oh no, but there's no sight quite like an amputated spirit. There is no prosthetic for that. I think public schools and probably the church, to a large degree, like, I'm a Christian, I'm an Orthodox Christian, and I'm very disappointed with the church system in the United States. I think it's mostly a spirit amputating hospital, as well as the school system. Spirit amputation. These are the masters of rhetoric that killed Jesus, same Pharisees, and they've got us all working for mining co dollars. It doesn't really matter who they is. Just stop working for mining co dollars. Start organizing with people. Start acquiring real assets. And maybe in 10, 20 years, there'll be enough of us who are free enough to speak our minds that we can get together and form a coalition to maybe have a second American Revolution, maybe enact that second American Revolution through the political system, maybe just let it all crash and burn and then just kind of rebuild something with the same infrastructure and trade networks, because the trade networks have been going on since ancient Rome, and they're ultimately going to continue, and they will outlast any government or currency we say that we are behind. So get guns, get assets, get very, very loyal friends and family, and know where your food comes from, and probably own those places as well. Like, I'm very interested in just owning lots of land and having people occupying that land who pay me and have guns and need me for their way of life. Because once I have that, they need me for their way of life, and we have the guns and the training. And New England's got great geography. It's never been conquered, so bring it on. Bring it on. It'll be legendary. Yeah, I don't know. If you're not, I just think that, like, anyone who's like, yay, I live in a free society, everything's free and happy, and I don't have to worry about anything, you're gonna be a slave now or in 2 generations. I just think you're fucked. When the founding fathers came out of the Constitutional Convention, they asked what we had. They were like, well, what have you given us? And I think John Adams said, a republic, if you can keep it. Well, we're not really keeping it. And by we, I mean you. I'm keeping it. But, like, you're probably not keeping it. Just statistically. So probably get on that. Because, I don't know, like, only criminals can negotiate. Like, okay, so this is a fun thing I was talking about in the sauna yesterday. And they were saying that the Mexican government's official on paper policy towards the cartel is hugs, not bullets. The government's just a bunch of criminals, and they just negotiate with the other big criminals. And they only persecute the little criminals. So just become a larger criminal. I'm not going to tell you what that means. I'll just tell you this. Like, having become a business owner and gotten into laws and legality and understanding all this stuff, I'll tell you that I never break a single law, and I'm an incredibly law-abiding citizen. Go watch that movie. It's a great movie. But not only that, but the government doesn't even know what their own laws say anyway. Like, you could literally just claim that anyone's a criminal. You literally could. And the only thing to say whether or not the person's a criminal is who's got the better lawyer. Welcome to the world. And this is the freest country that exists. Every other country, they just knock you off without a trial. Like, you understand that, right? You understand that the literacy rates in China and Europe are fake, right? You understand they don't educate everyone in these countries, right? You know that. You're aware of that, right? You're not suffering from this delusion that when, like, Norway reports their education statistics, that they're actually educating everyone. They're not. They give everyone a test at like 12 or 13. If you don't pass that test, they don't educate you. By pass, I mean top 5%. So all the statistics on their performance are just the most intelligent people anyway. Top 5%, probably, or more. I mean, it varies depending on country, but it's like they only educate the top percent. It's only the United States that insists on educating everyone. I started this video talking about the baby boomers and how I can't really, this is the only reason that we should be upset with the baby boomers is that they just allowed this to happen. I don't know why. I think it's because the majority of people in the majority of time periods are delusional. I think you have brief periods like Mycenaean Greece. Even Mycenaean Greece, the majority of people were basically delusional. And it was sort of like I guess you had like Odysseus, and then you had like Odysseus's disciples, but like then you would have the suitors who were representative of like most of Greece, most of Mycenaean Greece, and they were just delusional whack jobs who just wanted to engage in piracy. And they were probably the very sea people who who were responsible for the fall of the Bronze Age empires. I mean, really, it was just like basically it's like just people competent enough to go steal some stuff, but not competent enough to build. And I think that's basically the world. And then I think most people just don't care. It's like you have like the Vikings who were sort of like the next Mycenaeans, and then they went around doing the sea people thing, because in a world where you're the only competent people and everyone else is just like, Lord of the Manor, I will be your peasant as long as you bang my wife on our wedding night and guarantee me some meager amount of grain. I will never rebel. I don't want to think. I'll eat porridge till my teeth fall out at 30. It's pathetic. Like, it's literally, I think it's pathetic. And I think that thinking of this as pathetic is how you achieve freedom from this pathetic mode of being. It's the same thing as like, oh Lord, let me work for my fiat currency and get my COVID vaccine, and then I'll be a good little slave boy for you. Oh, please don't investigate me or anything. Oh my God, I'm such a good little slave. I won't say anything. I won't even make a Facebook post. I'm a good UK citizen. It's pathetic. Let me work for my fiat currency. I don't need guns, because I don't own anything. I work for Equico mining dollars. I'll eat my gruel. No. Why shouldn't they be downtrodden and oppressed? I think there's a rule in life that those who will not fight for themselves will not be fought for by others. Like, and this is like in prison. Never been to prison, don't want to go to prison. Sounds like a horrible experience. This is just in life in general. It's like, if you won't stand up to a bully, no one's going to stand up to a bully for you. This is even more true in school now. It's kind of funny. Like, now they have no anti-bullying policies. So now if you stand up to a bully, the school's going to bully you. Just stand up to them anyway. Like, screw it. Honestly. Like, just swear that you will become the rock against which the ship of poor-minded, weak people who seek oppression sold as safety, just be the rock that gets smashed on. Because it's going to get smashed anyway. So just, like, don't help them. I don't know. I don't really know. I think it's really weird that people aren't aware of this. And they aren't thinking about this. And they're just like passive sheepies. Why are there so many sheepies? Like, I don't feel like I was ever a sheepie. I feel like I was like born and my dad wasn't a sheepie. He raised me not to be a sheepie. Where are all these sheepies coming from? Like, where are these sheepies? Like, is it the fluoride? I think psychiatry is a little bit of a sheepy thing, like the church. I don't know. There are all these institutions that try to sheepify you. Psychiatry, I think, is useful, but like, I don't know. I think that like psychiatry, the problem of psychiatry is that psychiatry is in bed with the institutions. So psychiatry wants you to function within dysfunctional institutions. And that's the problem. Like, I went through psychiatry. Like, I had a psychiatrist at points. I talked to, like, I was like, like ADHD. And, like, I was having brain dysfunction from, like, gut issues and stuff. But, like, I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe in, like, I think I had to reduce the variability in order to understand what was going on with my brain so that I could fix it without the drugs, because I was just like, I had to reduce the things, but I don't know. I mean, like, I think that Adderall may have, I don't know. I mean, like, Adderall, like, I think it was bad for my teeth. I don't like that. I think maybe, like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, should I just have gone full chaos mode and just, like, dropped out of school, dropped out of any institutions, and just tried to, like, document? I mean, I don't know. I think I played my cards as best I could, because I'm in a great situation now. Married, 2 kids, wife, like, great place to live. Like, great relationship with my family, working together with my family, business going well, YouTube going well, jiu-jitsu going well, everything's going well. So I'm like, can't really, I think I played it really well, honestly, because I think that I needed, I think I played it about as well as I was going. Maybe if I'd never gone to the church and I'd never gone to a psychiatrist, I would have spent my whole life wondering if they had something. I would have been like, is there some wisdom these institutions now? I think they basically just amputate your soul, and then, like, literally, like, I think the church does this too. The church will just be like, okay, so you're this person who's, like, free, and you have all these goals and ambitions and everything. Your ambitions are from the devil. Like, it's just fucked up. They're so fucked. It's like, your ambitions are from the devil. The fact that you want to experience sexual pleasure is from the devil. The fact that you want to consume a substance to get high with your wife is from the devil. The fact that you want to actually experience God is from the devil. It's just bizarre. Like, it's just this patently bizarre series of experiences. Psychiatry too. The fact, I mean, psychiatry I think is even like, they kind of, the thing I don't like about psychiatry, and I didn't like about my experience with psychiatry, is that I felt like the instability that I experienced was uniquely my own. And it made me stable. That's what I didn't like. That's what I didn't like about psychiatry, like the Adderall. Like, I liked that it made me stable for a period of time, but it made me stable. And then I just kind of sailed into oncoming insomnia again. And I was just like, why? The instability was uniquely mine. I feel like I was meant to do something with that instability. I wasn't meant to just be stable. Like, I'm stable. I liked my dynamic instability. I like that. I enjoy that. I'm not on Adderall right now, and I enjoy, like, look at my videos. Like, you'll see there's this dynamic instability to my mind. And, like, it's harder. It's harder to be off Adderall. It just is. But I like it more. So it's weird, because in some sense I'm validating that psychiatry works. It's like, it does work. But I don't like it. Like, I like me. I like the craziness. I like the fact that I'm ununderstandable to myself, and that I'm kind of constantly working at that. And that process that I'll never finish, that it is itself this form of madness, is my experience moment to moment. And that's what guides me. I love that. Oh, it's amazing. And I think I needed to tamp that down, because I think it was just too much. Like, it can be too much. It can be like just too much, because like my mind is unraveling. I don't know up from down. I can't sleep. But it was like when I decided to go on Adderall, I was just sitting down staring at the wall for hours, because I was just having these thoughts. But it was fine. Like, I should have just gone with that instead of school. Like, instead of being like, I'm just sitting down for hours at a time thinking a million thoughts a second, I should start to, like, I should have been like, I'm just going to drop out of school and write books. Fuck those institutions! They want your soul! I think I needed to go through that. Like, I think I needed to go through the institutions as, like, part of my downgoing that Nietzsche talks about, and that Jesus Christ himself experienced, that the Buddha experienced. Like, in some sense, I was raised in such a perfect environment. I was such a perfectly imperfect environment that I felt the need to seek out my own inner imperfection, which was the doubt of the perfection that was there to begin with, which itself is a lack of self-understanding. Know thyself, man of action. Know thyself. And now I know myself, I think. And I like that. Cost me heavily. It cost me more physical suffering than I thought the human body and mind could experience. A few cavities in my teeth that still need to be filled. Hell of a lot of chaos in my life. A bunch of friends who weren't really my friends. Fuck them, I thought they were. Called them brothers, and I was like, you know, I think you had, like, they were like, Devin, I would die for you. They literally told me this numerous times, they would die for me. They were full of shit. I think they didn't even know they were full of shit. They don't even know themselves. They're just these like weird little people who allowed the world to amputate their souls. And I got close enough to them and close enough to the abyss to see that I could have allowed the same to happen to myself, but I didn't because I'm better. Is what it is, motherfuckers. You know, when you pushed yourself and you've tested yourself as much as I have, you get to say that. You get to say, I'm better. Maybe I'm not better ultimately in some abstract sense that doesn't pertain to reality, but in reality today and tomorrow and probably next week and next year, I'm better. And I earned that shit. And they know it. And if they want to challenge me, which they don't because I'm better, and I'd win, whatever challenge it is, I crush them with my very mind. It's a great feeling, like I know it. I know my mind alone would crush them. So, yeah, I had to go through my down going. I had to experience hell a few times, I guess. 3 times I think I've experienced hell in my life. First time when I was 16, and I like barely slept for a year, and I shit blood, and I had like erectile dysfunction. Second time when I was 18, I didn't sleep for a whole month straight, and I had another health crisis, and I was staring at the abyss, wondering if I would take my own life. And I didn't, but I wondered, and I was like, if I can't find a solution to this, I'm probably going to end up killing myself, because this is literally hell, and I have no idea why I'm torturing myself on the off chance I'll solve this problem. Then the third time, this past year, where I saw my health go to shit before my very eyes, and it's just horrible. I mean, just go watch my videos. Like, some of them, I deleted the ones that were just me saying, there were just ones that was like, basically, like, I showed the monstrous side of myself a little too much, and I was like, I don't think the world will understand. And it was horrible. But, like, I still have a lot of very disturbed videos up there from this past year, so if you want to see a little sliver into my disturbed mind, you can go see that. Like, it's up there. There's some videos up there, like, go check out from, like, last summer and stuff. There's just videos. Like, one of them I really like is don't get sad, get mad, don't get angry, get even. Go look up that one. That's like very mild, honestly, but I think if you go to that time period and then you go a few weeks before then, you'll find some of my more disturbed videos. Like, it's hard to hold on to whatever people call sanity. Like, it's not a default human experience. So, yeah, I've been to hell 3 times. I've been to legitimate hell 3 times. And it's horrible. And I would have a hard time wishing that on my worst enemy. Like, my wife actually asked me, she was like, if someone raped our daughter, would you wish the insomnia you had on them? And at first I said no. And then I said yes. But at first I said no. And then I just thought, like, who am I? I don't know. I think I'm a monster. I think I'm a monster because I think that I say I have pain. Let's just say I don't know, Eckhart Tolle talks about the pain body. I have this, and it sucks to talk about this, and I don't really want to, but I'm just going to keep talking about it because I think it's going to be good. I have this pain that I don't think other people have experienced, because I know they haven't. And it makes me feel kind of like the It Clown. Like, it's like this, like, hee. And I'm like, I look at him, and I'm like, and I see his demonic It Clown dance, and I'm like, I get you. I get you. A little bit. Because it's possible for a creature to suffer so much that all they want is to make their suffering comprehensible to another. And that the suffering is so great that to do that is to understand your own suffering, and to want another to understand that is to basically be a monster and torture others. And I think I'm there, like a bit. Like, I think I'm at least at the precipice of that, or I see it. And I think to even see that precipice in yourself is to already be a monster. And like, I'm capable of wishing what I went through on another. In my most fucked up moments, I do. In my most fucked up moments, I imagine someone who would willingly allow me to go through what I went through, and then I imagine myself wishing what I went through on them in revenge. And I think that the fact that I can do that, even for a moment, makes me a monster. I know it does, actually. But I think we should be monsters. I think we should be monsters, because I think unless we're monsters, then we're just prey for monsters. Because ultimately, I think that me becoming... I don't think until I really became this until I reached that point of thinking of myself as a monster, I don't think I really... I just don't think I took the problem seriously enough. I don't think I took my own problem seriously enough. Because it's one thing to think, I'm probably going to kill myself because of this. It's another thing to go past that and think, I've already endured so much that now all that's left is finding all the broken people of the world and creating an army to go and show people exactly what they haven't been seeing. And I don't want to do that, but part of me does. And I don't know. I mean, I think that's what makes me make these videos. Because I'm afraid of that. That actually scares me. Because I would become that person with full consciousness, and then I would proceed with every rationalization in the full spirit of my own conviction that I was right. And I'm not sure that I even now believe that I wouldn't be. But I don't want to be. Because then I would have to kind of give up on the ideas that I have of goodwill towards men, and I don't know, maybe not even give up on those ideas, but I would transform those ideas into something approximate, I would literally I don't know, just brutally enslaving vegans. I don't know, I understand Hitler. I understand Hitler. Not insofar as the specific things he did, but I understand reaching a point where, I'm not saying, I think I'd be more justified than Hitler, and this is why I understand Hitler. Literally, this is why I understand Hitler, because I think I'd be more justified. But no. I understand, but I wouldn't kill the Jews. I wouldn't go gas all the Jews. I would just round up everyone that I deemed as being part of this unconscious body of people who just neglect the fact that there's poison in all the food, that the money supply isn't real, that we're all being enslaved. And I would basically just create this very rational description of all the systems that led to soy and poison and glyphosate and all these toxins being in all of our food supply. And I basically document out all everything that led to me experiencing what I experienced, everything I've done to fix that, and everything that caused those things to not work. And I've done research on people's lives, of health coaches. I understand this problem for myself and others. I really understand America's health problems. So I would basically document out everyone that I deemed responsible, and then everyone that I deemed complicit with those responsible, and I put them in gulags if they resisted. And I'd be justified because of what I went through. But I don't want to do that. But I would. And I think I might even turn, like, I don't know. I mean, if once you start going down that path, like, would I turn a blind eye towards torture? I don't know. I don't want to do any of these things, but it's like, I just feel... this is what Peterson means when he says you have to be a monster in order to not be a monster. Like, I'm kind of like, okay, like, how do I prevent myself from doing this? And I'm like, well, I guess I can document all these thoughts for, like, the benefit of mankind. I mean, I think that's a good thing to do. There's traffic right now, so I'm going to dissipate traffic with my super secret method that I won't really talk about because they probably knock me off. That's actually a funny video, but that I should make at some point. I might make it but I do partially wonder if I would get knocked off. Maybe not, because Trump's president. Who knows? I literally think that. I'm like, if you just put out too many okay, this is actually a funny thing. I'll do this as a test thing. I have figured out a way to get rid of traffic. It doesn't necessarily save you that much time, but you can literally, like, dissipate traffic in the heart of Austin by just acting like there isn't traffic. Just act like it's a slow day. Dead serious. Everyone around you will adopt your mentality. Because everyone, if you think about traffic, right now I'm in traffic, I'm looking at all the cars around me. And I'm using them to gauge my own behavior. It just takes one pebble in a stream to divert the river over time. If you know where to place it. So you go in the middle lane, you just chill. Space in front of me, whatever. Eventually everyone starts letting space open up. They start moving the space in front of you. The traffic snake goes away. I literally have videos showing this that I may just upload them and not really talk about it and just kind of, like, let people figure it out on their own, because I feel like if I try to, like, broadcast enlightened ideas too much, people will basically be like, oh, you think you're unenlightened? And then they'll just kill me. Kind of wonder about that, like, with YouTube. I'm like, if I just put out too many enlightened ideas, are people just going to be like, if you think you're so enlightened, yeah, they'll kill you. I'm like, well, I guess I would just kill them first, but it's like, I don't know, things I think about. So, I don't really know. Yeah, but I do actually think I'm kind of putting my life on the line by just becoming so famous on YouTube and everything. Because people find out about you and they just decide to kill you for no fucking reason. So, it's also another reason to make long videos, because I feel like people who do that don't really have attention spans like that, so. But basically, it doesn't really happen, seemingly, but I mean, this is like a 50-year plan, so, you know, thinking long term here. But I think about it, and I think that's really the only reason to be upset with the baby boomers is, like, unconscious, to be upset with anyone's unconscious. But I don't want to be upset at people because they're unconscious, because then I become Hitler. So really, I just want to raise my own conscious people, and I want to kind of provide other conscious people with a way to like separate the wheat from the chaff. Like, I'm not gonna try to turn chaff into wheat, but like I'll let the wheat kind of let the wheat rise to the top of the cream, you know? I don't really want to, I don't think I can do more than that without becoming Hitler, and I don't even think Hitler was really successful, so I don't want to do that. Think a lot. My descent into the underworld was useful because I thought a lot about it. And I think that my descent, I think I needed to voyage into psychiatry. I don't know. Maybe I didn't. Like, maybe I didn't need to voyage into psychiatry. Elliot Hulse did, though, and I feel like that kind of inspired me. Maybe I did need to voyage into psychiatry. I think I did. I think I probably did, because I was studying psychiatry too. I needed to study it to understand, and I think that, like, it also helped me understand how my brain's unique, because I actually think that it does work. I just think that I want my brain to be unique. I don't want other people's brains. It's not for me. Do I wish I'd never gone on Adderall? I guess I don't, because I was perceiving me staring at the wall for hours as a problem. And it really wasn't a problem. And now that I don't perceive it as a problem, it's fine. So I'm trying to get off Adderall. Had some sleep issues last week and this week and whatever. Consuming liver has helped me a lot with that. I love liver. Liver is great. Carnivore diet's great. Lots of water is great. Green tea is great. Meditating, I think, is God. I literally think that breathing is my God. I'm in love with breathing. I am literally, like, it is my God. Breathing is my God. I think that's also the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, too, but I think it's also the one true God. But I don't know. I think you should approach God as you understand God. I think that's really what to do. Like, approach God as you understand him, because you can't do anything else. And actually, this is the thing, like the Jesuits, the more I went to the church, the more they tried to get me to approach God as they misunderstood him. And it didn't work for me. And then I started reading this pagan vlog. I think it's called Magic from Scratch. And funny enough, the weird follower of Hermes taught me how to connect with the God of Jesus Christ again. Because at least pagans can be more honest. I mean, I think I like honest people, whoever they happen to be. I think the battle's linguistic. I think most of the language of the church and government and everything has been co-opted by rhetoricians. And a rhetorician, I'll just put it this way, what is rhetoric? A rhetorician. A rhetorician is someone who tries to achieve dominance, not by actually accomplishing anything, but by beating you in argument, basically. It's basically this idea of if I can beat you in argument, then I am superior. And it's why is that? Well, because people argue in order to determine action. So you have people who are specialists of argument and not action. And then they try to dominate action. I think this is a basic problem we have. And yeah, I think this is a basic problem we have. We have these masters of rhetoric who, they don't actually the problem is really they don't understand what it is they're talking about. They just, here's the thing, in schools, colleges, here's a fun fact. A lot of the reason for grades is because if I give you a grade, I don't have to teach you anything, because I can just give the whole class a test. I can grade the test on a curve, and then I can just say that those are the grades. At no point is there actual feedback of if I give a test and everyone fails the test, it's I didn't teach you anything. But by just grading people on a curve, and by focusing on the grade rather than the student's ability to produce, literally grading on a curve is the perfect example. It's I'm not actually going to teach you anything. There's in fact no standard. There's just the fact that I have to give a grade. So I'm going to create this arbitrary standard. The grade is your ability to outperform other people at answering a series of questions. Nowhere is it verified that answering these questions enhances your ability to produce a result. It's just assumed, and then we just turn out these people who are masters of rhetoric because they have to use rhetoric to defend the skills they don't have. And just generations of this. I think this is why Moses beat Pharaoh's magicians. Because Pharaoh's magicians, despite being magicians, were masters of rhetoric. They weren't really masters of magic. They were masters of rhetoric. And I think that that's it's not that they were phonies. They were just rhetoricians. And again, then what happened from there? Then the magicians of Egypt became the new priesthood of the Pharisees. And then when the Pharisees were destroyed, they became the new priesthoods of, I guess, the Catholic Church. I think that happened in one generation. I think that happened with Paul. I think Paul was just immediately came in with his rhetoric and started rhetoricizing everyone. Yeah, I don't know. I want to feel close to God, not close to people who tell me that God wants me to do all this weird stuff that makes me feel not close to God. I also want to work to produce value, not work to produce paper money that's representative of value. It just represents value. It has no value. Silver has value. Paper money has value if I can take it to the bank and exchange it for silver at a fixed rate. Paper money has no value. It's representative of the idea of value. In God we trust. What God? The God of the Jesuits? The God of the Pharisees? What God is that? The God of life? So, I don't know. I don't really know what to do about this problem. I think the main thing that I should do is become as conscious as possible, become as loving and conscious as possible, win the ADCC, and make YouTube videos, like live my life. And I think that by doing that, there's also a lot of logic behind what I'm doing, but I think it's like, I don't think that, I don't know, my wife said something interesting. She said she thinks that God blesses her a lot, which he does, because she really enjoys life. And I'm like, kind of agree with her there. I think she really does enjoy life. And I think that God really does bless her a lot because she does really enjoy life. And I think that's sort of what God wants from us. Like, he wants us to experience joy at his creation, because I don't even think God knows where God comes from. I don't think God is an object of his own knowledge. I think that, maybe the Mormons are right, and that, like, we level up, you basically become the Yahweh of the next creation or something. I think that, honestly, I think that makes sense to me. Like, you become the Yahweh of the next creation, and then maybe you're stuck managing all of the souls of everyone who's, I don't know, like, lived or died on, like, from your previous creation or something. And maybe there's, like, some reincarnation element to this. When you really, and then, like, there's probably an eternal recurrence element to that as well. If you really think about, like, we shall live forever, you will reincarnate forever, like, really think about forever from a mathematical perspective. I think mathematics is the language of the gods, language of God, to a large degree. I think the body is also the language of God, but mathematics is a close second, probably because it's rooted in the body, because we have a fixed number of limbs, and our body is geometric, and it's a whole bunch of reasons why math is rooted in them. We count in our fingers. Like, there's a large reason. Really, I guess, in some sense, math is actually systematically tying the words we use to describe the world to our own representations of our own bodies. Gosh darn it, I hope I get the jiu-jitsu on time, so I don't have to miss jiu-jitsu. But it's all up to God anyway, and I got my gi, so at least if I'm late, I can make it to gi, because they got no gi, and then they got the gi practice afterwards. Even though I don't use the gi grips, because they F up your fingers, and they're kind of stupid, and they're just for people with large hands who can't actually execute a rear naked choke. I still enjoy it, and I'll just do no gi with a gi on, and that'll be fun. So underhooks are great, but basically, like, I think as human beings, we're all kind of like trying to contact reality. And I think that once we understand reality, we understand our own finite being, and then we create systems that protect us from reality. Kind of like the fall in the Garden of Eden. And then, from there, we, I don't know, we kind of like work together, like, because it's like the system creates unconsciousness, but consciousness creates the system. Because like a system is sort of unconsciousness, because if you can't do it while being unconscious, you don't really have a system, but you have to like do the unconscious thing consciously, and then it becomes this like Zen koan, and then you're like trying to do the Zen koan, And that's life, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. So I'm trying to understand life and YouTube and business and marriage and family and jiu-jitsu and traffic and all this stuff to the greatest possible degree. But at the same time, as I'm trying to understand all of this stuff, I'm also just trying to let the unconscious intelligence of my body move through me and just express the total will of my epic bloodline that's been having plans since before I was born. And I'm trying to maximize this while creating a way for my children to do the same thing. And it's better than drinking, honestly. Like when I was drinking, because that's kind of where Adderall led me. Kind of led me to very mundane and normal behaviors because my brain became so stable. I was like, why not I just drink? I don't think I'm meant to be stable. Like maybe my neurology supports stability, but my personality does not. Not of that nature. I think I have to outsource my stability to my external environment in some sort of a dynamic way that has this symbiosis between my own stability and the environment. It sounds crazy, but it's like existing at that knife's edge is the only place I've ever felt alive. And I'm honestly, if I'm grateful to Adderall for anything, it's just the ability to articulate that one thing. And this is kind of why I hope my YouTube videos never get deleted from YouTube, because I think it'd be a travesty if YouTube just deleted my channel. Because I'm like, I think this is beautiful. I want these things to be up forever. I'm going to download them all and keep them all in a copy so I can just re-upload them whatever platform I need to, and hopefully people do the same so that like they go on forever like clips of Terrence McKenna. But it's beautiful. Like it's a beautiful thing to know yourself and to know who you are and to know what it is that you want to experience in this world. And yeah, I think it's great. Like, keep thinking, keep planning, keep plotting. I've got plenty of plots that I don't talk about on YouTube because if I didn't, that'd be kind of a boring human being, wouldn't I? Be like, oh, the guy just tells everything on YouTube. It's like I try to tell as much as I can on YouTube, and then I try to plot even more, you know? I'm gonna die someday. Like, I want to try to become an immortal god. Either in the next life or in this one, baby. Why aim for less? You know, because even as an immortal god, I'll still die eventually, because that's what eternity means. And then over that infinite eternity, I will eventually come back from the fucking dead. Not even in some metaphysical sense, just in the sense that given infinity, this reality in this video and me doing this exact thing will play out again. And I think that this is really like kind of how the multiverse works. Like the multiverse is, so basically people are like, what's the multiverse? And it's like, I actually subscribe to this idea that anything you can imagine is real. Like anything possible is real, but it's just not real in a way that we can access within causality. So it's sort of causally disconnected from us, but we can see them within our mind's eye. And I believe that our mind's eye is access to the dimension of mind, which is the higher order mathematical dimension in which all the lower order actualities actually exist. And I think that this higher order dimension transcends space and time, and that it connects all eternal recurrences and all iterations on every eternal recurrence, and even higher and lesser orders of infinite eternal recurrences, because there are greater and lesser infinities that are infinitely greater and lesser than other infinities. That's what George Cantor proved, and I think that's what drove him insane. Because then what that means is that our mind is the mind of God. The very thing you use to illuminate your own thoughts is the eternal uncreated light, which is the mind of God, that exists outside of all time and space in the eternal moment. I think that's a great place to end.